Hello everybody, welcome back for another video. Hope you're all doing well and that you're all having a great day. As always, a free way to support the channel is by leaving a thumbs up, by leaving a comment, or by telling me what you had for breakfast, and or subscribing also helps if you haven't done so already. And without further ado, let's jump right into it. It says Bitcoin's price edged lower on Wednesday, pressured by a stronger US dollar, as markets awaited the U.S. Federal Reserve's monetary policy outlook and progress around a stimulus deal. So, at the moment, the entire market, not just Bitcoin, has fallen down in price. There are very few articles at the time of me making this video, as it is still very early in the morning, basically discussing why this dip took place. The answer seems to be that the US dollar has risen in value. And I'll go over that in a couple of seconds because that doesn't seem like exactly what the issue might be, or that there might be any issue at all, to be completely honest with you. So I think it's now until Thursday is the Davos meeting that we were talking about yesterday and the day before, where basically all the banks and banks all come together and basically talk about how good or how bad the economy is and how amazing and or wonderful and or terrible and or horrible Bitcoin is. So I assume that a lot of things from Davos have been happening behind the scenes that we maybe just don't simply know about. It could be that richer investors are slightly rattled by anyone in the IMF or any other bank saying something negative about Bitcoin, as they have been putting positions into Bitcoin. Or it could simply, it could be a lot of things. This could be the calm before the rising storm. That doesn't make any sense, but you wouldn't understand what I'm saying at all. It could be a market pullback before we actually end up going up, because we are anticipating more news quite soon about stimulus deals. And we saw that any type of stimulus deal that we heard about last year had a profound effect on the market. And as our market would go up every single time that we heard someone from the US say that they were going to be printing hundreds of billions and or trillions of dollars to be able to keep markets afloat. But at the moment, this seems to be like literally the only news that's kind of floating around. It says spot Bitcoin to the US dollar fell more than 3% in early Asian trading hours, hitting an intraday low of $31,567 per token. CME Bitcoin futures eased by as much as 3% to $31,550, and there's a chart. Sure, why not? It says the losses across the Bitcoin markets appeared in the wake of an intraday US dollar rebound. So the rebound surged, air quotes, by 0.07%. I feel like an increase of 0.07% on the US dollar probably doesn't warrant a drop in the cryptocurrency market, as we've seen the dollar rise before by more than that and hasn't had any effect on the cryptocurrency market. I think it's just a bit of a lull period in our markets, simply waiting to see what's going to happen next. I'm sure it's not everyone, but I'm sure there are people who are looking towards Davos, who are looking to anything else that might be happening. There's also some other news that might fit into this kind of as well. It's very easy to be able to scare people, and this is what I currently think is happening. And if it is a scare tactic kind of thing that's going on, this once again only puts us back into 2017, because that's kind of how things are. So basically the US dollar hit 90.26, a significant bounce. I'm hyper air quoting today because a lot of the news just doesn't make a lot of sense. And therefore, this seems to be the reason why the price of Bitcoin fell? Question mark. On top of that, there's a lot of news about when we're going to continue moving up in price, how high we're going to go up in price, when this is going to happen, how long the stretch will actually be. This one says February Bitcoin bull run likely as top executives to attend MicroStrategy's virtual Bitcoin summit. We spoke about this yesterday as well, but it's all over the place today. It's kind of weird. Like, it's as if this news didn't already exist, but now it's existing further into the future. Basically, there's going to be a gigantic digital summit where executives are going to be, I assume normal people as well, but I assume there's like a fee, so maybe it's more executively priced. And the news that we got from MicroStrategy is that yesterday there's going to be thousands of people who are going to be attending. And we can only assume that if thousands are going to be attending, even a small fraction of them will start to allocate money into Bitcoin, and therefore maybe prices will begin to rise in February as well. And also, once again, tying into this like, no, this isn't the end of it, there's definitely more to come kind of thing. Binance's Changpeng Zhao predicts that this current crypto bull cycle may run until 2024. Speaking to Rand Neuner, the co-founder of On-Chain Capital, Zhao shared his predictions for the future, including a call that several bull years lay ahead. He said, "We're seeing just the first flat part of the wave. The big wave hasn't come yet. I think 2021, 2022, 2023, it's going to take 2 to 3 years, maybe 4 years for this cycle to hit the max." And of course, it says no one can predict it. No one knows that, but they're assuming that as he runs a massive company who's constantly collecting data of who's trading what and which coin is more popular and, you know, all the metrics and stuff like that, that we can only assume he has some type of literally inside information as he is inside the industry and can therefore maybe predict exactly how long this cycle is going to go. But as of right now, prices have dropped. No real reason why. I guess we have to take the news that it's the US dollar rising in value. I'm going to try and put this into words as to what I think it actually could be and hope it doesn't come out completely scrambled, because I've tried to say things before and people sit there like, what did he just say? Sorry about that. Before in the past, we've had situations where the market was moving up and then kind of went flat. What ended up happening was, in the news that we had before in the past, was that basically it was just a lull period in the market, and people actually sold off in anticipation of seeing other people sell off as we waited for some type of a crazy event. And I assume this crazy event will be at this time, I guess, the actual stimulus packages. So therefore, a retrace in price, waiting for the stimulus news that we're expecting all to happen, and then therefore the prices will go back up. This feels like what's going to happen. I mean, we'll see in about 2 weeks exactly where we are in the market. But as of right now, I'm sorry, just the morning. I can't really help it. I know people don't like it, but I mean, I'm not going to... Somebody was like, why don't you edit out you doing that? I'm like, do you want to edit it out for me? I'm not... It's just nonsense. Like, be an adult. It's just stuff. Anyway, so that's the price news at the moment. Nothing really else going on price-wise, if you will. Market went down, and these were only 2 articles, but tons of people were talking about, the market's gearing up for something. The market's going to be moving back up. We're expecting the market to kind of move back up. But these are the ones that we are talking about right now. Anyway, let's move on. The thing that could also be it, and this is like the 13th time I've used air quotes today, is because I don't really... It's not that I don't believe in it, but it's more like it doesn't seem logical, but the market also isn't logical. So this probably also is a very big reason as to why. I'm seeing a lot of regulatory news, and it's coming out in very, very quick waves, a lot quicker than we saw it before. We had news before in 2018, 2019, maybe even portions of 2020 about regulations. This country is doing this country is taxing this much, this person is so and so, and this person doesn't like it, this person, kind of news like that. But the waves are getting a lot quicker when it comes to actual regulation. We've heard explicitly from people from the World Bank and the IMF and the Bank of England, who is for some reason like the person that everyone goes to talk about negative things, basically all stating how much they don't like Bitcoin in the cryptocurrency space. So I think that could have had some type of an effect on the market. We were talking about that yesterday in yesterday's video as well. It's very easy to scare people. If you tell people, people have this idea that, well, they're making digital versions of their own currency, this is going to hurt Bitcoin. And that's not... People will learn as time goes on that is not true at all. But I guess the momentary fear does have some type of an impact on people. For those of you now looking at the screen, it says South African regulator moves for crypto regulation. The regulator wants control over Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP, and all other digital currencies. I'm not sure what's going through their heads, or if they simply don't understand it, or maybe I just have to be in the room with them. We had news like this years ago as well. that regulators wanted complete control over these currencies. And even further than knowing where the transactions went, they want like, no, we own this coin and therefore we say where it can and cannot go and who issues it. But if you know how the cryptocurrency market works, that's not, you can't have complete control over these things. You can tell a cryptocurrency exchange to have AML, KYC. You can even do the FinCEN thing that Coinbase is currently trying to fight against. But you cannot have complete control over them unless you have complete control over the entire networks. So the South African regulator news came out. There's also the Philippine Central Bank widens cryptocurrency regulation, sees accelerated growth in crypto activity. We're seeing a huge amount of people around the world who are trying to get into the cryptocurrency space all at once. It's happening quite rapidly. I'm sure you're seeing it in your suggested on YouTube. It's constantly Bitcoin videos. I'm seeing videos from people who have absolutely nothing to do with cryptocurrencies now making Bitcoin videos. There was a woman who popped up, like, you know how there's like a discover more tab. Maybe I have that on my YouTube where like you can find other things that you normally don't look at. And there was a woman, her name was like Katie Sews, and she was wearing like knitted pattern things and stuff like that. And she's like, Bitcoin rich. And I was like, okay, it's the same cycle from 2017 once again, where everyone started making videos about Bitcoin, talking about Bitcoin. But then this also became the droplets and then the eventual storm of ICOs popping up and everyone trying to make their own coin and everyone promoting their own coin and everyone doing this. So I think we're still in the midst of that. I don't think that's stopping anytime soon, as a number of celebrities have also come forward talking about the new coins that they're going to be making and all these other kind of things like that. But it is worrying regulators because they don't have control over the space. They're used to the old system, and the fact that there's a new rapidly rising system that they do not explicitly have control over. Just because you can see where transactions are going does not mean you have control over it. You can tax someone on the transactions that are happening, but then also you can't. You know how the cryptocurrency space works. I don't have to really explain it to you. So the fact that banks are indicating once again that the US dollar appears to be crumbling, if the world reserve currency is not doing good, what does that mean for every other currency? They're also crumbling as well. So they're looking for ways to either digitize their money because they think that this is the thing that people want. People simply want digital money and therefore they'll be happy, or trying to get rapid control of the market in some sort of way, or demonizing it. We've also seen, what was it, last week or the week before, where basically they're like, Bitcoin does this and Bitcoin does that and illicit activity and so, when we know that that's not true. I had a whole video about that as well. We had about 5 people over the course of a week who were like, yeah, we know that Bitcoin's being used for terrible, horrible things. And then I found the articles for you from the actual companies who actually do the on-chain metrics and on-chain data. And they were like, no, it's less than 1% of all these transactions. And even then, like, the idea of what is illicit is also something different from state to state and country to country. So you kind of have the idea that, if someone transferred $10,500 through a chain, well, in that country where you can't send more than 10,000 without letting the government know, that's also an illegal activity. So anyway, the Philippine Central Bank, of course, they're trying to whatever. And also this right here, this hasn't stopped. I haven't brought you any of the news because it's not relevant to anything that we talk about during the course of the days. But this has been happening every single day as well. Every day I keep seeing this news as well. For those of you not looking at the screen, it says US SEC, that is the Securities and Exchange Commission, flags 8 crypto companies allegedly duping investors worldwide. The US SEC has flagged 28 companies it alleged has been soliciting investors without obtaining the proper registration. This number has to be in the actual hundreds right now. We're getting news, or rather I'm seeing news, that there are tons of companies out there who are either creating their own coins, not registering with the SEC. There are a couple of people trying to get other people's coins in a not so nice way. But the SEC seems to be attacking every single thing right now. And that's why I think before, when we saw XRP falling, we also saw Lumens falling and a couple of other coins who were kind of in that same exact category. So there seems to be a worldwide net being thrown over everything crypto, with regulators simply saying it's all bad until we get it under control. But they'll never have it under control. And I think that's leading up to the, that phrase, first they laugh and then they was something you and then they fight you and then you win. I think we're in the beginning stages of what we're seeing as the actual battle. I think a lot of the foothold of the battle is beginning to be seen simply because a big portion of the fight is actual getting institutions into the space. And when institutions themselves are knocking other institutions over to be able to get in easier and quicker, we're talking about the Rockefellers, we're talking about, all these other big names who are already in the market, the biggest banks in the world. So I think it's now a point where the governments are going to be like, hey, everyone slow down, calm down. We're going to so and so. There was even news yesterday. It's something about Russia also trying to really get control of the space. But it's also countries who have a lot to lose. And I mean not just control over their money. I mean actual power. They have power because they control the money. And when you don't control the money, you lose all of your power. So just imagine, you know what I'm trying to say. Anyway, so there's been a lot of news like this. I'm not going to be bringing you US SEC or regulatory news every single day, but it's also I saw a lot of this and have been seeing it over the last I want to say even 10 days, but it's a constant stream of news like this as well, that regulators are gearing up and regulators are getting ready. It's basically them trying to figure out how to tax it, how to make sure that every cryptocurrency exchange has AML, KYC things on their platform, and that they know where their transactions are going. It's a struggle for them. They're going to eventually do it, but then at that point, we've talked about this before. There's a movement within the cryptocurrency space to get us into decentralized exchanges and then private transactions. So that's going to be a whoopty, a doopty, a hoopty, something with a Y at the end. It's a doozy. It's going to be a doozy. I know I was going to get it. I was like, a hoopty? Anyway, that's the regulatory news, if you will, for today. And let's move on. Also quite popular in news today, it says blockchain payments firm Ripple has kept on adding new clients even after the US SEC, the Securities and Exchange Commission, who we just spoke about, announced a lawsuit against the firm and two of its executives alleging that they raised $1.3 billion through an unregistered ongoing digital assets offering referring to XRP. So for those of you who don't know, who may have missed that day in class, the SEC basically came forward. The head regulator on his last day filed a lawsuit against Ripple, basically saying that XRP was running an ongoing ICO that simply had not ended. Sure, why not? The news then was, everyone was like, well, clearly Ripple's done and Ripple's going to completely implode. And I had to make a logic video where I was telling people, I was like, Ripple's a company and, the US is only one country. Everyone was under the assumption that because the US said no, because Big Daddy waved his finger and was like, no, that Ripple would completely collapse. And I had to let everybody else know that there are 192 other countries on the planet who don't really care about what the US SEC has said. Ripple CEO Brad Garlinghouse revealed on social media that the firm has signed 15 new customers after the SEC complaint, which, as Decrypt reports, suggest the company has been adding 2 new clients per week. The firm is now seeing more customers than ever before, and I think there's a tweet from Garlinghouse somewhere around here. I think the popularity of this is, I don't know what's wrong with people. I really don't get it. Did people think that Ripple was going to completely crumble into itself because the United States said one thing about them? I even went over in the video. Every other country that Ripple has done business in has already declared that XRP is not a security. They've partnered with every bank in India and I think nearly all the banks in Japan. And I'm sure they've been partnering with other companies and countries as well that they simply can't say because they have non-disclosure agreements. So the news is Ripple is still rippling. They still have partners and the world is still spinning. Yeah, this was very popular news this morning that they had seemingly magically had acquired new partners and new companies and new partnerships, as if they were not going to continue doing that. Do people know how regulations work? Or that companies can simply get up and move? I don't think Ripple is ever going to move. I think they're probably, if we saw 3 Bitcoin ETF applications put in the last 8 days, I assume Ripple is crossing its fingers and its toes that the new SEC head is going to be more favorable with them. And if it is at that point, XRP's price is going to skyrocket. But even if it doesn't, and we hear that Ripple is moving, they no longer have to worry about the US SEC, and the world can continue moving on. Anyway, that's the Ripple news. Still making money, because that's how businesses work. And without further ado, let's move on. So I tried to get away from this, but then I couldn't. And then I tried to look that way, and it was still there. And then I tried to walk out of the room, and it still smacked me in the face. So alas, here we are. Soulja Boy is getting acquainted with the crypto market and catching up on what's happening with XRP. The rapper sent a tweet out to his 5 million followers, 5 million, geez Louise, over the weekend, asking where he can buy the 5th largest cryptocurrency by market cap. The tweet quickly went viral, with a deluge of responses informing him that Ripple is facing a lawsuit from the US SEC that accuses the company of selling XRP as a security. Whoop-de-doo, Basil. He said, how do I purchase XRP? It said trading error. And then last month, Soulja Boy said he's a big fan of Dogecoin. He said, and I quote, "Yo, Dogecoin army, it's going down, man. Make sure y'all tap in for Dogecoin. It's gonna be the crypto of the future. Dogecoin is the people's coin. Let's go. It's your boy, Soulja Boy." End quote. As for the altcoin market, he says he's now the proud owner of Binance Coin, Digibyte, Tron, Clever, that is Clever with a K, Zelapay, wow, and Firdaus. Soulja Boy also bought Bitcoin, but is more interested in finding the next big thing, because he's what? Because he's not paying attention. Someone said, did you get BTC? He said, sure did, but I've been known. Wow, I thought I read that incorrectly. He said, but I've been known about Bitcoin. It's these new coins that are kind of interesting me right now. Thoughts? Question mark. So, like I said, I really tried to get away from this because I was like, okay, cool, another celebrity bought Bitcoin or cryptos in general. But the articles keep coming and they will not stop, and I don't know how to really stop them at this point. So the news is Soulja Boy is now the proud owner of Bitcoin and about 13 other coins he should not be owning. But it does make sense as far the price increases of certain coins do make sense. It didn't really even occur to me that all these things were happening behind the scenes, but you'd assume if you have a big enough following and you type in the word Dogecoin, it's going to have some type of an effect. We saw that with Elon Musk. Elon Musk wrote the word Dogecoin, or that he liked Dogecoin, and didn't it go up like 130% that same like 2-day period or something obscene like that? Anyway, that's the Soulja Boy news for today. It does help with adoption. It does help. The same exact thing we were talking about Mr. Beast. I mean, it does get new people into the market, which is fantastic. Like, this is exactly kind of what I wanted. It's just the coins sometimes. It's the, what was it? Zelapay. All right. And for those. And without further ado, let's continue moving right on. Next up in the news that should be news but should not be news, and I'll tell you why. Rothschild, or I want to say it the correct way, but it bothers me to say it. I have to say it the other way. Rothschild Investment Corporation, founded in 1908, in a filing with the SEC, revealed that the company has increased its holding of GBTC to 30,454 shares. So the GBTC, if I'm not mistaken, is the Grayscale Bitcoin Trust. So they own shares of Grayscale, which then gives them rights to actual Bitcoin. The increase is of nearly 6,000 shares from its previous filing of the SEC. It says Bitcoin Institution Watch. The SEC has filed with in its filing with the SEC. The investment group revealed that it has a total portfolio of $919 million, while the real value of the assets under management was not revealed. The investment corporation's revelation about their GBTC holdings highlights the growing interest of institutions in the top cryptocurrency. Okay, cool. Wonderful. And then it talks about how much Bitcoin there actually is and not 900 per day and all that other stuff. So the weird part is this is kind of everywhere news, like actually all over the place news. But I kept on looking around because I was like, what's going on? So this is the Rothschild Investment Corporation, but it's not it's not them. It's not the one you're thinking of. There's an actual company who has nothing to do with the family. I looked into it, and they're called the actual Rothschild Investment Corporation. So it's not the family. It's just another company. So that, like I said, it should be news because they own an enormous amount of Bitcoin. But it's not that it shouldn't be news, but everyone's touting it as that family is now into crypto, which listen, I would assume at some point somebody picked up a coin or a couple 10,000 or a couple 100,000. What was the news that we got a couple days ago where some banker was like, for 4 or 5 years was like, I hate Bitcoin. Bitcoin is terrible. I don't like Bitcoin. And then he gave a press conference recently and was like, yeah, my son luckily bought some, a substantial amount for the family. Thank you, son. So I assume it's something like that. Someone in that family owns something crypto. But at the moment, the company that we're hearing about has nothing to do with them. So cool. Another major company has gotten into the cryptocurrency space. They have a lot of Bitcoin. And here's the actual filing for it right here on the SEC's website. I'm not clicking on the link because I don't know where the link leads to. Sure, why not? But cool. Yeah. So another big company into the market. We're going to continue seeing this over and over all the time. This is why I understand price drops. I get it. I do understand them. But it's just more so when they're significant or prolonged, it's to me clear that something else is happening behind the scenes that's causing this to kind of, drop in some sort of way. But confidence is still there. I have not lost confidence because I know the market's going to go back up. It's just a matter of when. And I think we're just all kind of anticipating, waiting eagerly for the market to go back up so we can all move on with our lives. Anyway, that's the SEC Rothschild news. And without further ado, let's moving on. And to finish things off, in I'm Rich, Look Over Here news, legendary American value investor William H. Miller III, ooh, fancy, recently wrote that over the past decade, not owning any Bitcoin has been a massive mistake. Wow. Finally got there. And that he expects this to continue to be true. Miller is the founder, chairman, and chief investment officer of investment firm Miller Value Partners, as well as the portfolio manager of the firm's mutual funds Opportunity Equity and Income Strategy. Before starting Miller Value Partners, I don't care about all that. It's important to point out that Miller is not your average investor or manager, and as CNBC noted, apparently he's been doing very well for 15 years. I'm sure his pockets are quite fat, and it has been beating the S&P 500. Wonderful. In his Q4 2020 market letter published on the 5th of January, Miller said this about Bitcoin: the Fed is pursuing a policy whose objective is to have investments in cash lose money in real terms for the foreseeable future. Wow. Companies such as Square, MassMutual, and MicroStrategy have moved cash into Bitcoin rather than the guaranteed losses on cash held on their balance sheet. PayPal and Square alone are estimated to be buying on behalf of their customers all of the 900 new Bitcoin mined each day. Once again, we had news. There was definitely about 10 days. I can tell that this letter that he wrote to his people was definitely a bit late because we had news about a week later that apparently it's just PayPal who's trying to buy 900 and also Square is also trying to buy 900. Once again, 900 created per day. Not all 900 is actually being sold. Nearly all the companies who are mining Bitcoin are keeping it for themselves. They're not growing apples on an apple tree and then selling off every apple. They also want to make pies. They also want to make juice as well. They're also hungry. Anyway, yeah, another person has come out in support of Bitcoin because, it only took 10 years, but they're finally all understanding So this is what I talk about, like when with price decreases. I'm like, okay, well, I can logically assume that prices are only going to go back up because we keep hearing all this buying news. You know, don't forget last week, what was it? Didn't Grayscale buy, I think, $1 billion of Bitcoin in one day, and MicroStrategy purchased 600 million? So, you know, the supply keeps decreasing because that's how math works. As always, a very special thank you to my Patreon supporters. Professor Wally, I'm really tired today. I don't know if you can tell. I'm like super mega tired. I think I slept too long. Professor Wally from Gunbot University, Quoted Biddy, Bare Bones Mining, Troy Allgood, Space Case, Need a Miracle, Crypto Stahl, George Montoya, Wiselink, Not TMI, Conan, Don't Skip Leg Day, Snacky Chan, Tolik Banana, Auspicious Agile and Blockchain, Navarro Williams, David James, Attila the Han, Yasha Harari, Oscar Maldonado, Utopia 569, Moonman High, XRP, Joshua Vineyard, Martin Stoyo, Nostromo, John Sarson, The Animal Reader, Abilbiophobia, Todd Mullis, Adam Graysig, Mohammed Maroni, Massive Ventures in Thailand, Jared Schneider, Wise Knight, Owl, 242 to the World, Bankroll Network, Crypto Artist, Coldy 3D, Damien, Setsuna, Richie Richard III, Vlad the Impaler, Paxis, Nick Mon, Jellavoni, Anthony Charles, Jim Gardner, Jimmy Fox, Minty Coins, Miller, Hishess, Every Day, Cal Sleeps Leg Day. Couldn't do it. There's no way I can do that. And I used to be able to do all the names in one breath, but you know, time. Miller, Hishess, Every Day, and Cal Sleeps Leg Day. Yes to Crypto, Bodie McButtface, Anytime Fitness, Smarts Corner Staff, Arfmedic17, Bake Me a Cake, Tigger, Macho Nisa, On Crypto with Lionel, Crayola Michelle, URL, and Bolero Bastos. Thank you all very, very much for your support. Thank you to everyone who is a member of the channel. Thank you to everyone who is a clicker of affiliate links. Thank you to everyone who has left a thumbs up. Thank you to everyone who left a comment. Thank you to everyone who is still here listening to my voice. I doth appreciate it. At the momento, Bitcoin is currently at 31,166 US dollars. This is the movement up sometime during the night. And while we all slept, the prices went down. I assume it had to do with the smidge that the US dollar went up. That seems to be, no, it's not logical either, but you know what I'm talking about. It seems to be the excuse right now as to why the market has dropped. Ethereum's at 1,270. Polkadot is at $15.87. Everything is roughly between 5 to 7% down. I mean, except for, you know, number 1 and 2, but you understand what I'm saying. Binance coin is up, down. It's still green. Lumen's down by 4. Aave's up by 6. Uniswap. So all the DeFi coins are still DeFiing themselves. See what I did there? Tron is down. Synthetics, I think, is also a DeFi coin. Don't judge me if I don't know it because it's Synthetics. Theta is down by 14. Anything else crazy? Also DeFi coin is up. All right, yeah. So that's the market for today. I assume we'll have a completely different market by this time next week because, you know, logic. As always, wait, no, that's wrong. I do hope, wait, no. It's sunny outside today. I don't know if it's sunny where you are, but it's quite nice to have some sun because, you know, winter's usually not sunny. I usually hate the sun as well, but, you know, under current circumstances, I don't mind some sunshine. I do hope you all enjoyed. I do hope you all are having a great day, a great morning, a great afternoon, a great evening, wherever you are, wherever you might be on this crazy planet. I do hope that it is absolutely fantastic. Thank you all once again for watching and or listening, and I will most certainly be talking to you all soon. See you.